Good morning, dear friend. Welcome to the quiet breath of a new morning. The world is still soft, the sky is only beginning to glow, and the first light of dawn has not yet learned to raise its voice. There is a sacred beauty in these early hours, when the noise of yesterday has not awakened, and the worries of today have not yet found their way to your heart. Morning always arrives gently, as if heaven is reminding you that even after the longest night, light still returns. Maybe you are here because your heart is heavy. Perhaps you woke up before the sun because sleep was too thin to carry the weight you have been holding. There are people who open their eyes every morning with a smile, but there are others who open their eyes with a sigh. A woman somewhere is sitting at the edge of her bed, staring at the phone that never rings. A father is looking at the bills on the kitchen table and wondering how to stretch what little he has. A teenager hides tears behind a closed door, afraid that no one will understand the storm inside. Someone is grieving a broken promise, a broken home, or the slow breaking of hope. And maybe you know that feeling too. Life can be loud and unfair. Heartbreak does not wait for the right time. Fear does not knock before entering. Loss comes to both the strong and the fragile. Even the kindest hearts have moments when they feel abandoned. If you are standing in that place today, you are not strange, and you are not alone. Pain does not disqualify you from faith. Sorrow does not make you weak. The fact that you are here, listening in the stillness of this morning, means something inside you is still reaching for light. This is where prayer becomes more than words. Prayer is not a performance. It is not a ritual for perfect people. It is a lifeline for weary souls, a quiet doorway between your brokenness and the mercy of God. Many people think prayer begins on our knees, but often it begins with a whisper in the heart. I cannot do this alone. When faith feels small, prayer gives it room to breathe. When grief feels heavy, prayer reminds it that burdens can be lifted. When fear shouts, prayer answers with a steady voice. You are invited into that steady place this morning, not as someone who must impress heaven, but as someone already known and deeply loved. The road ahead may look long, and you may not see every answer yet, but the one who shaped the sunrise knows how to shape your story too. Hope is not gone. Strength can rise again. Peace can find you. Even here. Even now. So take a deep breath. Let the morning wrap around you like a gentle promise. Open your heart to the voice that calls you by name, the presence that never sleeps, the love that does not run away when life becomes difficult. Today, we will walk into a sacred conversation, not with fear, but with trust, not with shame, but with honesty. And as these moments unfold, may your heart rediscover that faith is stronger than darkness, and prayer is always heard by the one who never leaves. Welcome to a new beginning. Let us take the first step together. Dear Heavenly Father, in this quiet beginning of day, I bring my heart before you without masks or excuses. The night was long, and my thoughts were heavy, but morning has come, and I choose to stand in the light of your presence. I do not pretend to be strong. I do not try to hide the questions that still sit deep inside me. I simply come as I am, with the hope that you receive me as gently as the sunrise touches the earth. You know the weight I have been carrying. You know the hidden battles that no one else can see. When fear whispers that nothing will change, I ask you to meet me right here. When sorrow tries to convince me that healing will never arrive, I ask you to breathe new life into my hope. I confess that sometimes my faith feels thin, like a single thread stretched across a storm. Yet even a single thread can hold when you are the one who holds the other end. Open the windows of my heart and let your peace enter the rooms where anxiety has lived for too long. I surrender the need to control what I cannot control. I release the urge to fix everything by my own strength. I place this day in your hands. Guide my steps. Guard my thoughts. Protect my heart from bitterness and from despair. Teach me to breathe slowly, to speak kindly, and to choose trust instead of fear. Search the corners of my soul where pain has settled. If there are wounds I have tried to ignore, softly touch them with your healing. If I have been carrying guilt or shame, remind me that your love is larger than my mistakes. If memories rise that bring tears to my eyes, comfort me in a way no human words could ever reach. Help me believe that nothing in my past has the power to cancel the future you have prepared. Remind me of the moments when you carried me. Help me remember the doors that opened, the strength that appeared, the peace that surprised me when I needed it most. Let the history of your kindness become the foundation of my confidence today. I cannot see everything that is coming, but I trust the one who sees me. Hold my heart steady. When doubt speaks loudly, let your voice be louder. When the world demands more than I have to give, multiply my strength. When worry tries to fill my morning, fill it instead with quiet assurance. I do not ask for a perfect day. I ask for a faithful heart that can walk through whatever comes with courage and grace. Thank you for the gift of breath in my lungs and light in the sky. Thank you for the chance to begin again. Even if yesterday left scars, today holds new mercy. I choose hope. I choose forgiveness. I choose to believe that you are working in ways I cannot yet see. Keep my spirit gentle. Keep my mind clear. Keep my soul rooted in peace that nothing can steal. Father, I stand at the doorway of this morning with open hands. My future is in your keeping. My fears are in your care. Let your presence stay close to me from the first step to the last. Let your love shape my thoughts and my decisions. And as this day unfolds, remind me that I am never alone, never unseen, never abandoned. You are with me, and that is enough. Lift the heaviness from my shoulders, little by little, touch by touch, until I can breathe without feeling the familiar ache press against my chest. If I stumble, let grace rise before judgment. If I grow tired, let rest come without shame. If unexpected challenges appear, give me patience that does not break and wisdom that does not rush. Let this morning be a reminder that every sunrise carries a promise. Darkness never wins the final word. You are the light that the night cannot erase. When my emotions feel loud and unsettled, calm them like waves under a quiet wind. When I meet people today who are hurting, help me to see them with kindness. Strengthen my faith not by removing every trouble, but by walking with me through each one. Build in me a quiet courage that does not depend on circumstances. Grow a hope that cannot be shaken. And when tears come, remind me that tears are not weakness. They are evidence that my heart is still alive. Father, protect my steps today. Keep me from traps I cannot see. Guard my mind from hopeless stories. Guard my heart from fear that tries to rise again. Let peace be my shield and trust be my anchor. As I step into the hours ahead, remind me that I do not walk alone. You are near in the silence and near in the noise. Let this morning mark the beginning of a day filled with purpose, peace, and quiet strength. Hold me close when silence feels heavy, and remind me that even quiet seasons are filled with your presence and purpose. Always, Father, as the morning continues to unfold, my heart follows the quiet path you began to open within me. The gentle stillness that touched my soul has not faded, and I feel the invitation to let go even more deeply than before. I carry no illusions about my own strength. I know how quickly my thoughts run ahead, and how often my hands try to manage what my spirit cannot carry alone. So I bring every hidden tension, every unfinished worry, and every silent fear into your presence. Teach me how to surrender without hesitation. Show me how to release the worries that cling to my chest and the expectations that weigh down my steps. Some burdens are old, worn into the corners of my mind. Others arrived recently and settled in before I could recognize them. I ask you to help me open every locked room within me and allow your peace to enter without resistance. I do not want to hold tight to things that only tire my soul. You understand the fragile places inside me, the ones that tremble when life feels uncertain. When my plans fall apart or change without warning, help me to trust that you are not surprised. When I reach moments where I want to control outcomes, remind me that surrender is not loss. It is the doorway to freedom, the clearing where hope can breathe. Let this be a day where letting go is not painful, but healing. If pride tries to make me hide my weakness, gently guide me back to honesty. If fear whispers that surrender means failure, silence that voice with truth. Make room in my heart for humility, not shame. Make room for courage that comes from resting, not forcing. I want to live this day with open hands, open eyes, and open expectations, willing to receive whatever grace you choose to send. Father, lift the burdens that do not belong to me. Some of them I picked up because I thought I had to. Others were handed to me by people who never understood the weight they carried. Help me place each one at your feet. Help me stop trying to fix what only love can heal. I cannot carry every disappointment or solve every problem, but I can walk in peace if you hold what I cannot manage. As the light grows stronger outside, let clarity grow inside me. Show me what matters today and what can be released. Give me wisdom to speak when needed and silence when words would do harm. Keep me from rushing through the hours as if worth is measured by business. Let me breathe with intention. Let me move with soft strength. Let me trust that surrender makes space for joy. Thank you for the patience you show me. Thank you for never turning away when I come back with the same fears, the same tears, the same questions. Your love never grows weary. Your grace does not run thin. Even when I try to handle life on my own, you wait for me to return with kindness, not judgment. So here I am, laying every heavy thought at your feet. Take the weight off my shoulders and the pressure from my mind. Replace anxious planning with quiet confidence. Replace restless striving with gentle assurance. Keep my heart tender enough to feel and strong enough to trust. And Father, when I look at the world around me, help me not carry burdens that are not mine. Show me how to pray without absorbing every sorrow. Let me listen deeply but remain rooted. Give me boundaries wrapped in love and wisdom. Let surrender reshape how I see myself. Give me freedom from the voice that says, I must earn love or prove worth. Teach me that being held is better than being in control. When my mind tries to prepare for every outcome, remind me that you are already present in moments I have not yet lived. Let your presence soften every hard place in me. If tears rise, let them wash away what I no longer need to hold. If laughter comes, let it be a sign of healing. If silence fills the room, let it be peaceful, not empty. Keep me gentle with myself. Keep me aware of small blessings in ordinary moments. Let the way morning light touches my window remind me that hope arrives quietly. Let each breath remind me that I am sustained by grace, not effort. And when this day asks more than I feel able to give, let surrender be the place where my strength begins. Today, Lord, I remain here in the quiet, where surrender has made room for something softer, something unexpected. I sense the faint stirrings of hope, not loud, not demanding, but like the first trace of warmth touching the edge of morning frost. It is not yet certainty, but it is enough to remind me that life is still being written, and your hand has not let go of the pen. There is something sacred about this stillness. It does not rush. It does not shout. It simply waits, gently offering space for my weary heart to believe again. Hope does not always come as a fire. Sometimes it comes as a flicker, a single light that refuses to be put out. And even this, Lord, I receive with open hands. I look back and remember moments when I thought it was the end, but you were writing a beginning I could not see. I remember how you turned ashes into something that could bloom, not because I earned it, but because you are faithful. Let that memory live in me today, not just as a story from the past, but as evidence that you are not finished. You are still healing, still moving, still answering prayers whispered through tears. God, give me the courage to hope even when the world tells me to be cynical. Protect the small seeds of faith growing in the soil of disappointment. Help me to believe without forcing outcomes. Teach me to expect goodness without demanding a perfect plan. Let hope rise gently, like mist lifting from the ground, quiet but real. When discouragement tries to settle into my bones, remind me of the promises you have made, not just the ones written in holy words, but the ones you have whispered to me personally in quiet hours and desperate prayers. Write them again on the walls of my heart. Let them be louder than the echoes of doubt. Let them be stronger than the silence of unanswered questions. If I have grown numb, wake me up with wonder. If I have lost the ability to dream, breathe into my imagination again. Show me what it means to live with expectancy, not entitlement, to wait with joy, not fear, to move through this day with a heart open to surprise. Thank you for every sign of life, no matter how small. Thank you for the way light filters through the curtain, for the way breath still fills my lungs. Thank you for friends who check in, for moments of laughter that sneak in through the cracks. Thank you for the quiet reminder that I have made it through nights that once felt impossible. These are not small things. They are your fingerprints, steady and kind. Let my heart notice what is good today. Let it turn toward beauty without apology. Let it celebrate without guilt. I do not want to miss the gifts hidden in plain sight, because I am waiting for something bigger. Open my eyes to see the holy in the ordinary, the eternal in the everyday. Hope often arrives dressed in simplicity. When I feel overwhelmed, help me return to this moment, not to the unknown future, not to the shadows of the past, but to the present, where you are always near. Let hope become the ground I walk on and the air I breathe. Let it reshape the way I speak, the way I listen, the way I offer myself to others. Lord, give me the kind of hope that steadies, not shakes, the kind that plants its roots deep so the winds of fear cannot uproot it. Make it stubborn in the best way, refusing to let go even when the world offers every reason to give up. Let it live in my voice, in my prayers, in my posture, in the way I begin and end this day. When I cannot feel it, let me still choose it. When I doubt it, remind me that faith is not always loud, but it is always real. And when others are searching for it, let them find it reflected in the peace I carry, the kindness I extend, the patience I practice. This morning, I choose hope again, quiet, gentle, and rising, not because everything is fixed, but because you are here, not because the road is easy, but because I do not walk it alone. And that, Lord, is enough for today. Let hope guide my choices today. Let it steady my hands when they begin to tremble. Let it be the song beneath my silence, the echo behind my steps. Let it be the lens that softens what seems harsh and brings light to what feels hidden. If I find myself slipping into fear, remind me that hope is not naive, it is brave. If I grow tired of waiting, teach me that hope is not wasted time, it is trust-wearing shoes. If I start to compare my journey to someone else's, anchor me in the truth that you are writing a story in me that does not need to look like theirs. Keep me from rushing past the gentle reminders you place along the path. A breeze against my cheek, a kind word from a stranger, the sound of leaves dancing in the wind. These are holy signs that hope is still alive and well. Let me not miss them in my hurry, even in pain. Let hope have a voice, even in confusion. Let it build something steady, even in loss. Let it rise again, not to replace what was broken, but to remind me that new things can still grow. May hope not be an escape, but a companion, not a fragile wish, but a firm foundation. Thank you for whispering to me when the world is too loud. Thank you for waiting with me when I am not sure how to pray. Thank you for being the source of every good thing I still dare to believe in. And thank you for teaching me that even the quietest hope is stronger than the deepest fear. God. As hope begins to stretch its way through my heart, I notice the places within me that still carry dust and weight. The light of this new morning reveals what the night often hides: the quiet clutter of regret, the piles of words left unsaid, the corners where shame still whispers. And so I do not turn away from the mess. I bring it to you, just as it is, because you are not afraid of what I carry. I invite you into the inner room of my soul, into the places I usually keep closed. Not because I think you need to see them, but because I need to stop hiding. I need your love to enter every shadowed hallway and speak peace to every anxious corner. I have tried to tidy things up on my own, hoping to be worthy of grace. But grace was never something to be earned. It was always something to be received. Lord, search me with kindness, not with harshness, not with judgment, but with the eyes of a father who knows the difference between who I am and who I pretend to be. Peel back the layers I have used to protect my wounds. Gently uncover the parts I have buried beneath business or silence. If there are patterns in me that lead to unrest, name them with truth and help me release them without fear. Sometimes I do not know what needs to go. Sometimes I hold on to things that drain me, simply because they feel familiar. Teach me to let go of what no longer serves life. If bitterness has made a home in my heart, uproot it. If envy has crept in, remove its root before it grows deeper. If pride has taken the place of tenderness, soften me again. I do not want to live in a house divided. I do not want peace in one room and turmoil in another. I want a clean space within me, where joy is not crowded out and kindness is not a visitor. Sweep the floors of my thoughts. Dust off the shelves of my memory. Open the windows of my mind and let in the breeze of your mercy. Thank you for not recoiling from my reality. Thank you for entering the mess without hesitation. You are not disgusted by my struggle. You are not disappointed by my weakness. You simply come, ready to redeem what I thought was beyond repair. You carry no broom of shame, only a towel of grace and a basin of water that restores. Today, I lay before you every careless word I spoke, every silence I used as a shield, every time I chose fear over love, not to be punished, but to be made new. I confess the times I turned away from compassion, the moments I avoided truth because it was uncomfortable, the hours I filled with distraction to avoid facing pain. Cleanse me, not just for the sake of holiness, but for the sake of freedom. God, create in me a heart that does not resist conviction. Let your correction come as a kindness, not a condemnation. Let it shape me, not shame me. And when I feel exposed, remind me that nothing is revealed without purpose. You do not uncover to humiliate, but to heal. You do not point to weakness to mock it, but to restore strength, even as you cleanse. Stay gentle. Speak softly as you shift what needs to move. Let me know that I am safe with you, even when the process feels tender. Let me feel held, not broken. Let me feel seen, not judged. And when I walk away from this prayer, let me carry less of what burdens and more of what blesses. I welcome your presence like fresh air after a storm. Welcome your truth like sunlight through the blinds. I welcome your peace like a quiet song playing in the background of my day. Let the atmosphere of my soul be one where love grows easily, where grace finds room to stretch, where joy does not have to compete with chaos. Thank you for not rushing this work. Thank you for returning day after day, patiently clearing what I cannot clear alone. Thank you for calling me worthy of your time, your effort, your nearness, and thank you for seeing not just what I have been, but what I am becoming. Clean the places I have ignored. Wash over the decisions I wish I could take back. Let forgiveness flow through the cracks of my regrets. Let it reach the moments I replay too often, the scenes that still bring heat to my face and weight to my chest. Let forgiveness not only come from you, but pass through me as well toward others. Toward myself, help me walk through today without dragging yesterday behind me. Let grace be the ground I walk on. Let kindness be the shoes on my feet. Let humility be the rhythm of my steps. Let peace be the light I carry into every room. May no shadow of guilt or fear linger long when your truth shines through the windows. Show me how to live lightly, not carelessly. How to be aware of my words, my tone, my posture, not from pressure, but from purpose. Let my presence reflect the healing that happens in quiet spaces. Let my life tell the story of a heart that has been cleaned and made ready for love again. I open the door wide for you, God, not just to visit, but to dwell, not just to inspect, but to inhabit. Make your home in me. Rearrange what you must. Remove what no longer belongs. Restore what has been neglected. Fill every corner with light, and let that light spill out into everything I do and say today. Whatever this day holds, let it find me uncluttered, unburdened, and unafraid. Let it find me with a heart made spacious by forgiveness, a mind made still by grace, and a soul made strong by the quiet work of renewal. I do not ask for perfection, I ask for presence. I do not seek performance, I seek peace. God, keep cleansing me gently and fully, until who I am on the inside reflects the love I believe in. Let today be a day where nothing old holds me back, and nothing false has power over me. Just truth, just mercy, just light, filling the room where we meet and where I live. Father, after the stillness has made space and your cleansing has reached the hidden rooms of my soul, I begin to hear again the echoes of all the ways you have never left me. Gratitude rises like light through a lifted curtain, and memory begins to stir not with sorrow, but with quiet strength. There have been so many moments I would not have survived without you. Some I recognized as miracles when they happened. Others I only understood later, looking back through the lens of grace. You were there in the nights I thought would never end. You were there when silence felt like abandonment, but it was actually you holding space for me to breathe. You were in the hand that reached out, the message that came at the right time, the strength that appeared just when I had nothing left to give. I remember now, and I choose to remember on purpose, not to stay in the past, but to build my courage for the present. Let remembrance be my anchor. Let it hold me steady when the winds of fear or discouragement begin to rise. Remind me that the same love that carried me before is still carrying me now. Remind me that I do not walk alone into anything that waits beyond this moment. You have been faithful, not once or twice, but always. Even when I doubted, even when I resisted, even when I wandered. God, bring to mind the quiet details, the overlooked blessings that never asked for attention. The breath I forgot to thank you for. The morning I woke up lighter, though I did not know why. The peace that came in the middle of chaos. The clarity that arrived through confusion. The laughter that surprised me when tears had been closer. Help me not just to remember the big rescues, but the daily mercies, the way you have surrounded me in ways I could not see, the way you have waited without growing tired, the way you have protected what I did not even know was in danger. Let my gratitude be rooted in reality, not in performance. Let it rise naturally as response, not ritual. You have been my shelter in seasons when everything else gave way. You have been the whisper of truth when lies shouted loud. You have been the steady hand when my steps were unsure. And you are the same today, the same power, the same patience, the same presence. Let my faith grow from this truth not in theory, but in remembrance. Father, remind me of the times you turned closed doors into new directions. Remind me of the relationships you restored when I had given up. Remind me of the dreams you resurrected, the strength you gave when I had no voice left to pray. Let me carry these memories like sacred stones in my pocket, tokens of a journey you have walked with me step by step. And if ever I forget again, gently nudge me back. If I grow numb to wonder, wake me up. If I start to believe the lie that I am alone or unseen, speak louder through the history you have already written in my life. Let my testimony not collect dust. Let it breathe. Let it grow. Let it shine. Thank you for never wasting anything, not my pain, not my detours, not even my delays. You have woven every broken piece into something beautiful over time. And while I may not have seen it in the moment, I can see it now. Thank you for that kind of vision. Thank you for hindsight that turns into holy ground. Let today be shaped by all that you have already done. Let it be filled with faith that does not need proof to move forward. Let it be filled with the kind of strength that knows it has already survived worse than this. Let it be filled with the kind of hope that knows if you did it before, you will do it again. I do not want to live forgetfully. I do not want to pass through blessings without acknowledging them. Teach me to pause, to notice, to give thanks even for what feels small. Remind me that nothing good is too small to matter, and nothing beautiful is ever wasted when it draws my heart toward you. Help me remember not just for comfort, but for courage. Let my memory of your faithfulness fuel my ability to trust you today. When I face uncertainty, remind me how many times I have made it through. When I feel overwhelmed, remind me that I have seen your goodness in the land of the living. May I never lose the wonder of being sustained by love I did not earn. May I never become so familiar with grace that I treat it as ordinary. Let the story of my life become an offering, a living testimony of what you can do with a willing heart. Not a perfect heart, not a flawless journey, but a heart that remembers who carried it through. Let the memory of past mercies shape the posture of my present prayers. Let it give me language when I do not know what to say. Let it steady my hands when they are shaking and lift my chin when my gaze drops too low. Let it be the light that guides me through shadowed paths. You are not a God of one-time kindness. You are not a God of momentary care. You are consistent, dependable, unwavering. When people have failed me, you have not. When I have failed myself, you have remained. Your faithfulness is the thread that ties every chapter of my life together, and I hold on to that thread today. So as I move through this morning, let remembered faithfulness be the rhythm beneath every step. Let it be the hum beneath every breath, the steady beat beneath every prayer. Let it be my song when words fail, my shelter when fear knocks, my compass when I am unsure. Thank you for not just getting me through, but walking with me, speaking to me, staying beside me. Thank you for being a God who leaves a trail of grace behind every storm. Let me keep following the trail. Let me keep remembering the way you make a way. Lord, as I continue in this rhythm of remembering, I feel my spirit settle into something deeper than memory, into peace. The kind that does not demand answers or rush toward resolution. The kind that allows me to breathe without needing everything to be perfect. The kind that wraps itself around my thoughts like a warm blanket on a cold morning and reminds me that I am safe with you. There is so much in the world that pulls at my calm. News that rattles, voices that pressure, deadlines that loom. People that expect more than I can offer. But here in this stillness, I hear the quiet invitation to stay grounded not in the noise, but in your nearness. I do not need all the solutions in order to rest. I only need to know that you are near, and that you are enough. Father, guard my mind today. Let peace be a gate that filters what enters. Let it block the lies that say I am behind, that I am not doing enough, that I will never be okay. Let it welcome the truth that you are holding all things together, even when I feel like I am falling apart. Help me notice when anxiety starts to creep in, and gently redirect my thoughts to what is steady, what is kind, what is true. Teach me to slow down in my spirit, even when the world moves fast. Let my inner life move to a different rhythm, one that honors rest, one that values presence over productivity, one that knows being still is not the same as being stuck. Let peace be more than a moment. Let it become my posture. Thank you for the small ways peace shows up through deep breaths, through the sound of birdsong, through the softness of morning light across the floor. Let me not miss these gifts. Let me not overlook the quiet reminders that I am surrounded by grace, even when the day ahead looks uncertain. When I am tempted to spiral into fear, interrupt me with calm. When I start to carry what is not mine, remind me that peace is found not in control, but in surrender. When I feel overstimulated, overstretched, or overwhelmed, be the voice that calls me back to center. I ask not for a day without challenges, but for a spirit that can remain unshaken within them. Let peace hold my reactions. Let it soften my tone. Let it slow my speech so that what I say carries gentleness instead of tension. Let my presence offer calm to those who enter my space. God, show me what it means to be a person of peace, not passive, but anchored, not detached, but grounded, not dismissive of pain, but unafraid of it. Let me carry a steady quiet, a settled heart, a spirit that listens before it reacts. Let others feel safer because I have first been still with you. Let peace meet me in the transitions, the pauses between tasks, the waiting in lines, the moments when nothing seems to be happening. Let those moments become altars, where I return again and again to the truth that I am not alone, and I do not have to rush. If I encounter tension today, help me to pause before responding. If someone speaks with sharpness, give me the grace not to echo their tone. If plans fall apart, let me remember that peace is not dependent on predictability. If worries knock loudly, let your peace answer the door first. Thank you for being my safe place. Thank you for being the stillness beneath every storm, the quiet voice beneath every noise. You do not ask me to earn peace. You offer it freely, faithfully, patiently. Let me be humble enough to receive it and brave enough to hold on to it when everything else tries to pull it away. Cover my thoughts like a shield. Cover my emotions like a soft wind across choppy waters. Cover my decisions with discernment that is not rushed by urgency but led by wisdom. Let peace not be a break from reality, but a deeper way of living within it. Let it show up in how I drive, how I type, how I speak, and how I respond when things go wrong. When I start to tense up, let me return to breath. When I feel the urge to fix everything, remind me that peace sometimes looks like choosing presence instead. Let me see obstacles as invitations to practice calm. Let me see irritations as opportunities to extend grace. Let me live today without being ruled by hurry or the fear of missing out. Wrap my home in peace. Let every room carry a sense of safety. Let laughter echo through the walls, but also silence when it is needed. Let those who walk through the door feel a shift, not because the furniture is perfect, but because the spirit of the place is one of welcome and kindness. Make my life a refuge, not because I am without flaws, but because I have learned to rest in you. Teach me how to give peace to others without losing my own, to listen without absorbing, to help without burning out, to speak truth without urgency, and to step back when my voice is not needed. Let peace be how I walk through conflict and how I leave every room better than I found it. And when I lie down tonight, let the same peace I welcomed in the morning still cover me. Let it remind me that even if everything was not finished, I am still enough. Let it settle into my breath and loosen every tight place in my chest. Let it be the exhale after a day lived with openness and grace. God, wherever my feet go today, let peace go first. Wherever my voice is heard, let peace speak through it. Wherever my presence lingers, let peace remain behind me like a soft imprint on the atmosphere. Let peace become my default, my way of being, my natural response to unnatural pressure. I do not ask for shallow calm. I ask for deep peace, the kind that runs beneath everything and holds steady when the surface breaks, the kind that is not tied to comfort, but is anchored in trust, the kind that lets me walk through the noise without becoming it. So today, I welcome peace as my companion. I welcome it not as a luxury, but as a necessity. I welcome it not as a reward, but as a gift. I welcome it not because life is easy, but because you are present. And where you are, peace is never far behind. Father, as peace settles deeper into my soul, I sense a quiet readiness beginning to rise. Not the kind that rushes into the day with noise and force, but the kind that stands with steady resolve, aware of both the weight and the grace of each step. I am not naive to the challenges ahead. I know life is still complex, but I also know you are with me, and that knowledge changes how I walk. Let strength meet me here, not strength that demands perfection or denies emotion, but strength that holds me upright when I would rather shrink. Strength that allows tears but refuses despair. Strength that speaks softly but walks boldly. The kind that does not need to be loud to be lasting. God, I have tried in the past to gather strength from my own ambition, my own need to prove, my own desperate efforts to stay ahead of fear. But that kind of strength frays too quickly. It burns hot and then disappears. What I ask for today is something deeper, rooted not in what I can do, but in who you are. Teach me the strength of gentleness, the kind that knows how to listen, the kind that stays steady under pressure, the kind that does not react to every threat, but discerns what deserves my energy. Give me the strength to be kind in a world that can be harsh. Give me the strength to hold boundaries without building walls, to show up fully, but not lose myself in the process. When I feel unseen, remind me that you see. When I feel unappreciated, remind me that you delight in my presence. When I feel like what I offer is too small, remind me that mustard seeds move mountains. Let strength be measured not by how much I carry, but by how willingly I trust you with what I cannot. Lord, I may be called to difficult conversations today. I may face tension I did not expect. I may be asked to hold space for others while still holding myself together. In those moments, give me grace beyond what I think I have. Speak through me where words fail. Strengthen my patience when time stretches thin. Guard my heart from hardness and my spirit from exhaustion. Thank you for being the source of my strength. You do not demand performance. You offer presence. You do not rush me toward resilience. You shape it within me quietly, moment by moment, breath by breath. Let me lean into that slow formation, trusting that who I am becoming matters more than what I can achieve in a single day. Let strength carry me through ordinary tasks with dignity. Let it be present in how I prepare meals, answer emails, drive in traffic, and greet strangers. Let me walk through mundane routines with the awareness that no act of love or presence is wasted. Infuse even the smallest motions with courage and clarity. If fatigue finds me today, help me to rest instead of quitting. If doubt creeps in, help me to return to what is true, not just what is loud. If temptation lingers, remind me of what matters more. Let your strength be a filter over my impulses and a guide beneath my decisions. Father, help me recognize that strength also means asking for help when I need it. That it means receiving, not just giving. That it means pausing, not just pushing through. Remind me that I was never designed to do this alone. Let strength be found in connection, in support, in the willingness to lean. Let the people I encounter today feel more safe, more seen, more grounded because I am not scrambling inside. Let them feel steadiness not as stiffness, but as softness rooted in something deeper. Let my strength never feel intimidating, but instead like shade on a hot day inviting. Quiet, consistent. Thank you for the strength that meets me right here, not at my peak, but in my process. Not once I have figured it all out, but while I am still learning to trust. Thank you for the reminder that I am carried, not just called, held, not just tasked, strengthened, not just expected to be strong. Let my strength be woven with humility. Let it come from a place of surrender, not stubbornness. Let it bend without breaking. Let it adapt without losing its anchor. Let it say no when needed, and yes when love calls. Let it stand firm, not in defiance, but in truth. Show me how to endure what is mine to endure, and to release what is not, to stay the course without running myself dry, to speak truth without pride, to keep going when no one claps, and to stop when it is time, without guilt or regret. If I feel small today, let me remember that strength is not in size, but in substance. If I feel overlooked, remind me that you never miss a moment. If I feel like giving up, place a new breath of courage inside my chest and whisper that this, too, matters. Give me strength to see beauty in others when my heart is tired, to choose silence over sarcasm when tensions rise, to bless instead of blame, to forgive without needing apology, to speak life even when I crave retreat. Let me reflect you not by striving, but by staying close. And when the day closes, let my strength have served love, not ego. Let it have lifted others, not just protected myself. Let it have made space for joy, for gentleness, for quiet victories that no one sees but you. So wherever I go today, let your strength go with me, not as a shield to hide behind, but as a steady foundation under my feet. Let it hold me when I falter, guide me when I wander, and restore me when I grow weary. Let it be enough for today, and new again tomorrow, God. After being reminded of the strength you provide, I feel a lightness stirring inside me. It is not loud or flashy. It is not the kind of joy that needs applause or permission. It is quiet and rooted, the kind that sits deep in the soul and refuses to be shaken. I feel it rising not because life is easy, but because you are good, and that goodness creates space for joy. So often I have mistaken joy for something I must chase or earn. I have tied it to circumstances, to perfect outcomes, to days that go smoothly. But today, I want to find joy in something steadier. I want to find it in you, in the unchanging, unwavering, always present you, the one who sings over me when I am unaware, who rejoices even in my smallest growth. Father, let joy become my strength today, not as a mask to hide behind, but as a well I return to again and again. Let it be the undercurrent of every conversation, every moment of quiet, every task I approach. Let it be found in my laughter, yes, but also in my tears. Let it show up in the way I breathe, in the way I pay attention, in the way I speak grace into ordinary things. There is so much that tries to steal joy. The distractions, the comparisons, the pace, the pressure. But I declare right now that my joy does not belong to those things. It does not belong to fear. It does not belong to shame. It does not belong to circumstances beyond my control. My joy is not fragile. My joy is not borrowed. My joy is not dependent on everything being right. My joy is rooted in the one who never changes. Thank you for the joy that surprises me, for the smile I did not see coming, for the song I heard at the right moment, for the memory that warmed me, for the silence that soothed me, for the kindness of a stranger, for the color of the sky. Thank you for reminding me that joy does not need too big to be real. It only needs to be noticed. Let me be someone who notices, who celebrates without needing a reason, who finds beauty in the cracks, who dances even when no one is watching, who holds sorrow in one hand and joy in the other and calls both holy. Help me not to wait for a better time to rejoice. Help me to recognize that now this breath, this moment is already a gift. And when grief shows up, as it sometimes does, let joy still find a way to exist, not in denial, but in defiance of despair. Let it be my quiet protest against hopelessness. Let it whisper truths that darkness cannot drown. Let it remind me that sorrow is real, but so is light, so is love, so is laughter. God, let my joy be generous. Let it overflow into the lives of others. Let it lift heads and soften hearts. Let it turn simple moments into sacred ones. Let it make room for others to breathe easier, to feel safer, to believe again. Let it be contagious without being forced, sincere without being loud, constant without being performative. I want to live with the kind of joy that carries weight, the kind that has been tested by fire but remains, the kind that does not flinch in storms, the kind that can sit quietly in the room and still change the atmosphere, the kind that comes from knowing I am deeply loved, no matter what unfolds today. Thank you for inviting me into joy, not as a reward for getting things right, but as an inheritance of grace. Thank you that I do not have to pretend in order to receive it, that even on hard days, joy is still possible, that it is not reserved for the lucky or the loud. It belongs to the open-hearted. It belongs to the ones who dare to hope, to heal, to keep going. Let joy be my rhythm today. Let it shape how I move through tasks, how I respond to delays, how I treat others, and how I speak to myself. Let it be found in the pauses, the little wins, the honest words, the full breaths. Let it be planted in the soil of trust and watered with gratitude until it blooms naturally, again and again. Remind me that joy is not selfish, that embracing it does not mean ignoring the pain of the world, but facing it with a heart that refuses to grow bitter. Let joy become my resistance. Let it become my healing. Let it keep me soft in a world that tries to harden me. Show me joy in the quiet corners, in the warmth of a drink held with both hands, in the light flickering through the leaves, in the sound of my own laughter, rare and unguarded, in the stillness that wraps around me like a friend, in the memories that return uninvited but welcome, in the hope that rises for no apparent reason except that something inside me still believes. Let joy be my lens today. Let it color how I see others. Let it soften my judgments and stir up compassion. Let it draw me out of myself and into connection. Let it be the thread that weaves through my words, through my rest, through my creativity, through my silence. God, make me a steward of joy. Help me protect it, nurture it, and share it without fear that it will run out. Let me hold it with open hands, letting it flow where it will. Let me trust that joy, like love, is multiplied in the giving. Let me carry it not as a prize, but as a promise, a glimpse of the goodness that is always reaching for me. And when night falls, let joy still echo through me. Let it be the hum beneath my dreams, the comfort beneath my rest. Let it tuck me in with the same assurance it gave me at dawn, that no matter what came, I was not alone, and joy still had a place in me. Let tomorrow find me ready to receive it again, new, whole, holy, not because everything will be easy, but because joy is stronger than fear, deeper than sorrow, and nearer than I sometimes dare to believe. Lord, after resting in the quiet joy that flows from your presence, I begin to notice what threatens to block that joy, those hidden corners where unforgiveness still lingers. Not always loud. Sometimes it is just a tightness in the chest, a name that stirs discomfort, a memory that still bites when I touch it. I bring it to you now not to justify it or explain it away, but to place it in the light of your healing. You know where I have been wounded. You know the stories that left their mark, the betrayals that still echo, the apologies that never came. You know the things I thought I had released, only to find them rising again in moments I least expect. And yet, you do not shame me for still holding them. Instead, you invite me to bring it all here to lay down what is too heavy to carry. Father, help me forgive where I have been holding on, not because they deserve it, but because I desire freedom, not because forgetting is easy, but because carrying resentment is exhausting. Teach me that forgiveness is not pretending it did not hurt. It is choosing not to let pain have the final word. It is releasing my grip on the story and letting you be the one who carries justice and mercy in equal measure. Let me start with myself, for the moments I replay with regret, for the words I wish I could unsay, for the times I disappointed myself and then built walls of judgment instead of grace. Help me extend to myself the same mercy I offer others. Let me look in the mirror and see someone in process, not someone disqualified. And God, help me forgive those who will never say sorry, those who do not understand the weight they placed on me, those who moved on while I stayed stuck in what they left behind. Help me to release the need for closure, the longing for explanation. Let peace come not from what they do, but from what you have already done. If my heart feels hard, soften it not with guilt, but with compassion. If bitterness clings, wash it away gently, the way only you can. If fear tells me that forgiving means losing power, remind me that forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength clothed in surrender. It is courage that refuses to mirror the pain that was handed to me. Thank you for forgiving me more times than I can count, for meeting my failures not with shame, but with welcome, for rewriting my story not with punishment, but with possibility. Let that same grace flow through me. Let it reach the parts of me still curled in self-defense. Let it be the way I walk, the way I speak, the way I remember. Let forgiveness shape how I show up today. In conversations that test me, in memories that haunt me, in the silence between two people who've not found the words to reconnect. Let me be the one who opens the door, even if I am afraid. Let me take the first step, even if it is not returned. Let me be brave enough to live unguarded. Teach me the difference between healthy boundaries and hardened walls. Show me how to hold space for truth without closing the door on love. Give me discernment, yes, but give me tenderness too. Let me be wise, but not jaded. Let me be honest, but still kind. Let me remember that forgiveness does not erase wisdom, but it does make healing possible. Help me forgive the systems that have failed me, the timelines that did not work out, the hopes that went unanswered, the prayers that felt ignored. Help me forgive life for being harder than I expected. And in that forgiveness, help me find peace, not because everything has changed, but because I have. And when I find it hard to let go, stay close. When I resist release, stay patient. When I try to take back what I have laid down, remind me that freedom is not a one-time act, but a daily walk. Walk with me. Sit beside me in the process. Whisper grace till it becomes the language I speak, even in silence. Let forgiveness become part of how I breathe. Let it soften my thoughts when they start to turn sharp. Let it change the way I speak, the way I pray, the way I treat strangers and those closest to me. Let it be a quiet strength in the background of my choices. Remind me that I am not defined by what was done to me, I am not stuck in who I used to be. I am not bound by the weight of the past. Every moment of forgiveness is a step toward freedom, a step toward becoming who you always saw in me before I saw it in myself. Thank you for being patient with my process, for not demanding instant healing, for staying near while I wrestle with wounds, for offering gentleness when all I feel is grief, for seeing beyond what still hurts and calling me whole even while I am learning how to live whole. Let today be marked not by how much I accomplish, but by how freely I love. Let it be marked not by how much I control, but by how willingly I release. Let it be a day where mercy flows easily and where peace replaces the space where grudges once grew. God, help me carry forgiveness like light warm, steady, and impossible to ignore. Let it be what fills the room when I enter. Let it be what others remember after I leave. Let it be what opens conversations, heals silences, and loosens knots that have lived too long in the hearts of those around me. Even when forgiveness feels impossible, keep working with me. Even when I forget why I chose grace, remind me again. Even when I am tempted to close off, help me stay open. Even when I want to run back to bitterness, help me stay rooted in love. Let this be a day of releasing, of trusting, of beginning again. Let it be a day where my heart becomes lighter, not because others changed, but because I did. Let forgiveness be the ground I stand on and the invitation I extend to every soul I meet, including my own. Father, as forgiveness begins to loosen the tight spaces in my soul, I feel something unfamiliar, but freeing the room to move forward without needing to know exactly where the road leads. There is a strange courage in not having all the answers, a quiet strength in learning to trust without a full map. And today, I want to walk in that trust. So much of my fear is tied to what I cannot predict. The what-ifs, the unknown outcomes, the doors that have not yet opened, the changes I did not ask for. But you have never asked me to control the future. You have only asked me to stay close. You have only asked me to believe that even here, in this uncertain space, you are already present. God, help me embrace what I do not yet understand. Help me breathe in the mystery instead of resisting it. Let my heart find safety in your character, even when circumstances shift like sand. Let me be grounded not in answers, but in awareness of you. Let me stand not on certainty, but on trust that you are still writing a good story, even in the chapters I did not expect. When I feel the urge to cling to what is familiar, hold my hands open. When I try to rush into clarity, slow me down. When I try to grasp for control, gently remind me that peace is found in release. Let uncertainty become the canvas for wonder instead of the soil for fear. Teach me how to wait well, how to live in the space between where I was and where I am going without losing hope. Show me that growth often happens in the in-between, that becoming is not always loud or visible, but steady and sacred, that you are just as present in the pause as you are in the breakthrough. Thank you for not rushing me. Thank you for not requiring a timeline. Thank you for walking with me through questions and letting me linger in the unknown without shame. You are not impatient with my process. You are not disappointed by my hesitation. You simply invite me again to trust, to move forward, to believe. Let me find beauty in the becoming. Let me celebrate not just the destination, but every small step that brings me closer to the life you are forming within me. Let me see uncertainty as a companion, not a threat. Let it teach me dependence. Let it refine my desires. Let it draw me closer to your heart. When I am tempted to shut down because I do not have all the answers, open my spirit instead. When I feel lost, help me remember that being lost to myself is not the same as being lost to you. You know exactly where I am. You know how to lead me forward even when I can see the next turn. God, give me eyes to see the path as it is not as I wish it would be. Help me walk by faith when vision is limited. Help me trust that even the delays, the detours, the disruptions are somehow being woven into something sacred. Let the unknown become holy ground, because you are here with me in it. Let today be a practice in release. Release of rigid plans. Release of timelines. Release of expectations. Let today be about presence, not perfection. Let it be about alignment, not achievement. Let it be about saying yes to what you are doing, even if I do not yet understand why. Help me to see that the unknown is not empty. It is full of possibilities I have not imagined, full of grace I have not seen, full of provision that has not yet arrived. Let that awareness shift my perspective from dread to curiosity, from fear to expectancy, from clinging to opening. Even if today brings something unexpected, let me meet it with trust. Let me receive it as a lesson, as an invitation, as part of the unfolding that only you fully comprehend. Let me stay soft-hearted and open-minded. Let me respond instead of react. Let me move with wisdom and flexibility. God, remind me that not knowing does not make me weak. It makes me human, and being human means I am allowed to ask questions. It means I can feel uncertain and still be faithful. It means I can wobble and still move forward. You are not afraid of my doubts. You are not offended by my questions. You meet me in them. Let my soul find rest in your nearness, not in the clarity of circumstances. Let my peace come from proximity, not predictability. Let my joy come from trust, not timing. Let me live like someone who is being led, not someone who has to lead everything alone. And when my mind races ahead, imagining every possible outcome, pull me back into this moment. Help me remember that grace is for today, that provision is for this step, that you are not asking me to leap across years in my thoughts, but simply to walk with you in this hour, this breath, this sunrise. Let me welcome the unknown not as a punishment, but as a holy space, a place where miracles are born, a place where faith matures, a place where intimacy with you grows deeper, because I must lean in more closely to hear your voice. Thank you for being the God of beginnings, middles, and endings. Thank you for writing stories that surprise me with their redemption. Thank you for seeing what I can't see and still calling me forward with gentleness. Let me live today with open hands. Let me live without forcing, without grasping, without fear. Let me live in awe of the unfolding. Let me walk into the unknown like someone who trusts the author more than the plot. Let that be enough. Let that be freedom. Father, as I step deeper into the unknown with open hands, I feel you asking me to remember who I am, not based on shifting circumstances or fleeting opinions, but rooted in something unshakable, in a world that constantly demands I define myself by what I do, what I achieve, or how I appear. You remind me that I am more than my roles, more than my performance, more than what others see. I am yours. I confess how easy it is to forget this, how quickly I drift into seeking validation from voices that do not know my heart, how often I measure my worth by checklists and expectations that do not reflect who you made me to be. But today, I want to come back to the truth. the quiet, soul-steadying truth that I am loved because I am not, because I earned it. Not because I proved anything, but because you chose me. God, remind me that identity is not something I have to hustle for. It is not a mask I need to wear or a title I must protect. It is a gift, freely given, deeply held. It is the place I begin from, not something I must chase. It is the quiet center from which all real strength, joy, peace, and purpose can flow when doubt creeps in and I question my value. Anchor me again in your voice, not the noise of the world, not the criticism in my own mind, not the comparisons that make me small. Just your voice, the one that called me by name before I ever knew how to speak it back. Let that voice be louder than every lie, more constant than every fleeting thought. Let me live today not trying to become someone, but living as someone already beloved. Let me show up in spaces with quiet confidence, not because I am perfect, but because I am anchored. Not because I have something to prove, but because I have something to give, drawn from a well that never runs dry. Help me to speak to myself with the same gentleness I would offer someone I love, to silence the harsh inner narrative that says I am not enough, not ready, not worthy. Replace it with truth, your truth that says I am fearfully and wonderfully made, known fully and still chosen. Let me release every false identity I have picked up along the way, the ones shaped by fear, the ones born from rejection, the ones crafted out of survival. Let me lay them down at your feet and walk forward clothed only in what is real. Beloved, chosen, whole, even in the becoming. God, I do not want to live performing. I want to live from presence. I do not want to chase applause. I want to rest in assurance. I do not want to wear roles that do not fit just to keep others comfortable. I want to walk in truth, even if it is quiet, even if it is misunderstood. Especially then. Thank you for defining me in ways that can't be undone. Thank you that no mistake disqualifies me from belonging. Thank you that I do not have to compete for a place at your table, that I am not a project to be fixed, but a person to be loved, that I am not a label, but a living soul crafted with care and purpose. When the world tells me I am too much or not enough, help me remember I am made in your image. When culture says to shape shift to fit in, help me stand still and root deeper. When expectations rise like a tide, help me return to stillness and remember I am already approved. Let this day be shaped by identity, not insecurity. Let every yes and every no I give come from knowing who I am, not fearing who I am not. Let the way I move, speak, serve, and rest reflect a heart that is grounded, not striving. Let me celebrate others without losing myself. Let me hear feedback without spiraling into shame. Let me risk vulnerability because I know I am already safe in you. Let me be bold and soft at once, strong and honest, seen and surrendered. And when I forget again, and I will forgive me gently, nudge me back to truth. Remind me again and again and again that I am yours, that before I do anything today, before I speak or act or give or try, I already belong. Let that belonging be my compass. Let it guide how I spend my time, how I treat my body, how I use my words. Let it guide the boundaries I set, the dreams I chase, the silence I honor. Let it be the lens through which I view everything else. Remind me that I do not have to chase after my identity. It is already planted deep within me. It is written into my design. It is confirmed in every sunrise, in every act of grace, In every time you call me by name, let me return to it as often as I need to. Let me live from it instead of away from it. Even when I feel unseen by others, let me know I am never invisible to you. Even when I feel like my contributions are small, remind me that nothing done in love is ever wasted. Even when I doubt my own reflection, let me see through your eyes a soul being refined. Not forgotten, God. Let my identity not just be something I know, but something I embody. Let it shape how I show up when no one's watching. Let it steady me in conflict, in loneliness, in success, in sorrow. Let it carry me through transitions and hold me still in rest. Thank you for never asking me to become someone else. Thank you for always leading me back to who I truly am. Not the version shaped by pressure or pain, but the one born of your image, named by your love, held in your hands. And if the world misunderstands me, let that be okay. If the path is narrow, let that be enough. If the affirmation is rare, let it not steal the rootedness I have in you. Let me live, today and always, as someone who belongs. Let me live as someone fully known, fully loved, fully free. Lord, when I remember who I am in you anchored, seen, and deeply loved, it changes the way I approach the world around me. Instead of striving, I begin to pour. Instead of guarding, I begin to give. Not from a place of depletion, but from the overflow of what you have already placed within me. And that overflow is what I long to live from today. Let love spill from my life in ways that do not need to be measured or acknowledged. Let it show up in how I pause to listen without rushing, how I serve without needing reward, how I speak with kindness when no one is watching. Let it be the invisible thread that holds together all my actions, quiet, strong, consistent. Father, you never meant for me to live in survival mode. You designed me to live full, to love wide, to give freely, but so often I have lived tightly wound. Protecting time, guarding energy, bracing for impact. I have rationed grace like a limited resource, afraid that if I gave too much, there would not be enough left for me. But you are a God of abundance. You fill what I empty. You multiply what I surrender. You pour back into what I offer. So today, I want to let go of fear around scarcity. I want to live like someone who believes that what flows through me will be replenished, that compassion does not run dry when shared, that joy does not shrink when expressed, that patience multiplies when practiced, that love is never less just because it has been given. Help me recognize when I am moving from overflow and when I am moving from emptiness. Help me notice when I begin to give out of pressure instead of peace. Let my giving be an act of worship, not a performance. Let it be an expression of freedom, not obligation. Let it be rooted in love, not fear of rejection. God, fill the places in me that are still running on fumes. Fill me in the unseen ways, in the quiet corners of my soul that no one else notices. Fill me in my fatigue, in my disappointment, in the moments I feel unnoticed or poured out. And once again, let me rise not with striving, but with substance, not with more effort, but with more of you. Let overflow shape how I treat the people I encounter today. Let it show in my patience with those who test me, in my warmth toward those who are cold, in my compassion for those who do not say thank you, in my willingness to be present even when I feel stretched. Let my life leave behind traces of grace in places that needed it most. And when I am tempted to keep score, to protect my giving, to monitor the return. Remind me that true generosity does not tolerate. It trusts. It flows freely because it knows its source is unending. Help me resist the lie that I must conserve everything. Help me remember that with you, I live connected to a well that never runs dry. Thank you for being the kind of God who not only fills, but overflows, who does not just offer enough, but more than I could ask or imagine. Thank you that you are not threatened by my needs, that you do not grow weary of my returning, that you delight in refilling me again and again. Let me make space for others to draw from what you are doing in me. Let my words be a cool cup of water. Let my presence feel like shelter. Let my kindness loosen what has been tight in others. Let my laughter bring light. Let my eyes carry understanding. Let my steps lead peace into the places I go. Lord, I do not want to live self-protective. I want to live open. I do not want to hoard joy, wisdom, or grace. I want to pour it out, because I trust you will fill me again. Let that be the rhythm of my life. Let it be the pattern of my days, a steady flow of receiving and releasing, of taking in and giving out, of breathing in your love and exhaling it everywhere I go. Teach me that overflow is not about doing more, but about being so full of your presence that it naturally spills into what I do. It is not a push, but a current. It is not forced, but free. Let the fruit of that overflow touch places I may never see and people I may never know. Remind me that overflow does not mean perfection. It does not mean I always get it right. It does not mean I am never tired or never need rest. It simply means that when I stay connected to you, what flows from me carries your fingerprints. It carries healing. It carries light. Let overflow show up in the boundaries I honor, in the space I give others to breathe, in the grace I give myself when I falter. Let it look like rest, like wisdom, like laughter, like silence. Let it look like trust. Even when my efforts feel unseen, remind me they are never wasted. Even when I feel unnoticed, let me know that you see. Even when I question whether what I give is enough, let me hear you whisper that what matters is not quantity, but the heart that gives. Let me walk lightly through today, not because I carry nothing, but because what I carry is rooted in joy and not in fear. Let me serve with open hands, listen with an open heart, and love without measuring. Let overflow become my default posture, not something I save for when I feel strong, but something I lean into even when I feel weak. Thank you for showing me that fullness is not found in constant doing, but in constant drawing near to you. Thank you for meeting me again in the stillness, in the morning light, in this quiet moment before the noise of the world begins. Let this day be marked by overflow. Let it begin with gratitude and end with peace. Let what flows through me reflect what is alive in me. Let it be real, steady, and sincere. And as I pour out today, hold me close and keep me full, not because I must perform, but because I belong to you. Father, as I learn to live from overflow instead of emptiness, I feel you gently guiding me towards something deeper courage. Not the kind that roars, but the kind that stands up quietly inside me and says, "Keep going." The kind that shows up even when I do not feel brave. The kind that lives in the ordinary choices I make to trust you again. There are moments when the world feels like too much, when the weight of responsibilities presses hard, when the unknown stretches long and wide, when my heart trembles and my voice shakes. But you do not shame my fear. You meet me there with presence. You remind me that courage is not the absence of fear, it is movement in the presence of it. Lord, I need that kind of courage today. The kind that steps forward when the path is unclear. The kind that speaks gently when tension rises. The kind that admits weakness and asks for help. The kind that shows up fully present even when it would be easier to shut down. Let courage be the quiet thread woven through my decisions. Remind me that courage does not always look like big moments. Sometimes it is getting out of bed. Sometimes it is showing up when I would rather stay hidden. Sometimes it is choosing kindness instead of defensiveness. Sometimes it is staying when walking away would feel easier. Sometimes it is walking away when staying would mean losing myself. Thank you for being my source of courage, not hype, not willpower, but steady, spirit-breathed confidence that I am not alone in what I face. You are not calling me to carry the world, only to carry today. And even then, not alone, you walk beside me, offering wisdom for each moment and strength for each step. Let courage meet me in conversations that require honesty. Let it help me speak truth with grace. Let it remind me that I do not have to control the outcome. I only have to be faithful in what I offer. Let it give me strength to apologize when I am wrong, and peace when I have done all I can. When I feel small, remind me that mustard seeds move mountains. When I feel unqualified, remind me that you often choose the unexpected. When I feel wary, remind me that even a quiet breath of trust is enough. Let courage rise in me, not because I am confident in myself, but because I am confident in you. Help me walk into this day not seeking to impress, but to impact, not striving for approval, but living from the approval I have already received, not trying to perform strength, but allowing your strength to hold me up. Let courage be the air I breathe, the posture I hold, the atmosphere I create. Let me have courage to say no when my soul needs rest. Let me have courage to say yes when opportunity knocks, even if I feel unsure. Let me have courage to wait without anxiety and move without regret. Let courage keep me steady in delay and humble in success. And when fear whispers that I am not ready, not worthy, not enough, help me recognize its voice and choose another one. Your voice, the voice that says I am called, equipped, and never left behind. The voice that says my value is not tied to my performance, but anchored in my belonging. God, I want to be courageous in love, brave enough to care deeply, brave enough to forgive freely, brave enough to hope wildly, brave enough to believe that change is still possible, even when evidence is thin, brave enough to be soft in a hard world and to trust again after disappointment. Let courage guide how I love others today. Let it help me reach out instead of pull away. Let it help me stay open even when I fear being misunderstood. Let it help me listen longer, speak gentler, and risk connection where walls have gone up. Let it remind me that vulnerability is not weakness, it is where true strength begins. Let courage not only help me take action, but also help me be still when stillness is what is needed. Let it teach me that waiting can be brave, that silence can be strong, and that being present in the midst of discomfort is often more powerful than escape. Let courage give me vision to see possibility where others see limitation. Let it open my imagination to divine solutions I have not yet considered. Let it stretch my faith beyond what is probable into what is possible. Let it carry me when my legs are tired and steady me when my mind wavers. Help me walk with humble courage, not the kind that needs attention, but the kind that anchors the room in peace, the kind that uplifts others instead of elevating self, the kind that chooses integrity even when no one is watching, the kind that reflects your quiet strength, not the world's loud confidence. Let courage flow into my creativity, into the words I speak, the ideas I birth, the dreams I nurture. Let it push me beyond fear of judgment and into honest expression. Let it move through the parts of me that have stayed hidden too long and bring light into every corner, still waiting to be seen. And when the day ends and I look back, let me not measure success by what I conquered, but by what I faced with an open heart. Let me measure growth by how often I said yes to love over fear. Let me feel peace not because everything was easy, because I did not shrink from what mattered. God, thank you for walking with me into this day, not behind me, pushing, not ahead of me, demanding, but beside me, whispering courage into every step. Thank you for shaping me into someone who does not have to feel brave to be brave. Thank you for reminding me that I can face what is in front of me because you are within me. So as I rise and move into the hours ahead, let courage be my companion. Let it be the quiet force behind every faithful choice, the steady beat beneath every uncertain moment, and the light that keeps me walking when the road is long. Let it be enough for today, and let it rise again tomorrow. Lord, after walking hand in hand with courage, I feel you drawing my attention inward again, not to examine my fear, but to examine my faith, not the loud declarations, but the quiet choices I make when feelings are unreliable, not the surges of emotion, but the steadiness of belief when my emotions rise and fall like tides. This morning, I offer you all that I feel, and I ask that you help me live by what I know in you, not by what I feel in the moment. Feelings are real, but they are not always true. They come fast and fade quickly. They are messengers, not masters. And sometimes they help, but other times they deceive. So today, I want to be anchored not in what feels urgent or overwhelming, but in what is eternally true, in who you are, in who you say I am, in what you have promised, even when I cannot see it yet. Father, help me believe you more than I believe my fear. Help me trust your heart when my own heart feels fragile. Help me choose faith even when I do not feel strong, even when I feel nothing at all. Let my obedience not be rooted in emotional highs, but in the steady ground of relationship with you. When I feel unworthy, remind me I am chosen. When I feel alone, remind me I am held. When I feel forgotten, remind me I am seen. When I feel tired, remind me that your strength is made perfect in my weakness. Dante, let fleeting moods shape my choices. Let truth shape my life. Let faith be the lens I look through today. Let it color how I interpret my surroundings. Let it inform how I respond to setbacks and interruptions. Let it remind me that even when nothing around me seems to change, something within me is being transformed. God, I do not want to live ruled by reaction. I want to live led by revelation. Let my faith in your character be stronger than my fear of the unknown. Let my memory of your faithfulness in the past anchor me in the present. Let me rehearse what is true until it becomes louder than what I fear. Teach me to speak life when I feel discouraged, to stand firm when I feel uncertain, to choose joy even when I do not feel happy, to forgive even when I do not feel like it, to show up even when I would rather shrink back. Let my faith not be passive, but active, stretching into the cracks where feelings fall short. Thank you for reminding me that faith is not about denying my emotions, but about not letting them define me. That I can acknowledge my feelings without bowing to them. That I can sit with sadness without letting it rule. That I can feel fear without letting it lead. Let this be a day where I move forward not because I feel brave, but because I trust you are with me. Not because I feel certain, but because I believe you are good. Not because my heart is steady, but because yours always is. Let faith rise in the places where doubt has lingered too long. Let it speak gently to the insecure parts of me. Let it whisper truth where lies have taken root. Let it shine light where shadows have lived. Let it rebuild what fear tore down and awaken what apathy has numbed. I want to live with a faith that shows up in the details, in how I speak to my loved ones, in how I treat strangers, in how I spend time, in how I hold space for mystery and wait for what I do not yet understand. Let my life echo trust, not just in grand gestures, but in the unseen choices of the everyday. Let faith interrupt my assumptions. Let it question the conclusions I have drawn too quickly. Let it lead me to patience when I want resolution, to grace when I want answers, to wonder when I want control. Let it be the language I speak when words fail, and the direction I walk when signs are missing. Remind me that faith does not always feel like fire. Sometimes it feels like a whisper, like getting up again, like choosing peace when chaos is easier, like choosing to bless when I have been hurt, like taking one more step when the path is not clear. Help me find joy in believing, not just in receiving. Help me lean into trust even when nothing changes right away. Help me worship not only when things are good, but because you are good. Help me keep going not out of obligation, but out of devotion. God, I know that you are not moved by my moods, and that gives me comfort. You are steady when I am scattered. You are faithful when I am fickle. You stay near when I feel far. So let my faith reflect you unshaken, unwavering, unmoved by temporary storms. Let me build a life that does not topple when the wind shifts. Let me plant hope where fear once lived. Let me rise not because I feel ready, but because I am willing to trust, willing to risk, willing to grow. Even when my hands tremble, let them still reach. Even when my voice shakes, let it still speak. Even when my faith feels small, let me still say yes, because you never asked me to be certain. You only asked me to believe. And when the night comes and feelings fade with the light, let me rest not in how I felt today, but in what I chose. I chose to believe you again. I chose to trust you again. I chose to let faith be greater than fear. Let that be my quiet victory. Let that be enough. Father, as faith settles deeper into my soul, I sense you inviting me to slow down, not just physically, but inwardly, to come away from the swirl of thoughts, the unspoken pressure, the constant reaching. You draw me not into doing, but into being, into stillness, not as a place of passivity, but as sacred space where rest becomes worship and quiet becomes communion. It is hard sometimes to slow the rhythm of a heart that is used to urgency, to quiet a mind trained to fill every silence, to release the impulse to fix, to solve, to plan. But you, Lord, are not found in the noise. You often whisper through the wind, speak through the silence, dwell in the pause between breath and thought. So I come not to accomplish, but to abide. Let stillness be the way I begin today, not rushing toward productivity, but grounding myself in presence, not measuring time by tasks, but by attention. Let me notice more and force less. Let me become aware of your nearness, of my own breath, of the beauty wrapped in simplicity. In stillness, I remember I am not the source. I am not holding the world together. I am not responsible for everyone's healing. I am not required to always know the answer. I can lay it all down here. I can unclench my soul. I can breathe again without guilt. I can stop and still be worthy. Thank you for modeling rest, for showing that even in creation, there was pause, even in power. There was Sabbath, even in divinity. There was space for sacred stillness. Let me honor that rhythm not just weekly, but daily. Let my rest be resistance to a culture obsessed with hustle. Let my rest be a declaration that I trust you enough to stop. Lord, teach me to be unhurried in spirit, to move slowly enough to see people, to listen deeply, to notice small joys, to be present with myself and others. Let me live today with margin, not crammed with striving, but spacious with peace. Let stillness walk beside me in every room I enter. Help me release the anxiety that tells me I am falling behind. Help me silence the voice that equates rest with laziness. Help me believe that what grows in stillness is just as sacred as what blooms in activity. Let me protect the soil of my soul with boundaries that honor rest. Let stillness reset my perspective. When my thoughts spiral, slow them. When my schedule overwhelms me, simplify it. When I feel lost in the noise, anchor me again in quiet. Speak into the stillness not always with solutions, but with presence, with assurance, with the kind of peace that does not need explanation. If I struggle to be still, be patient with me. If I fill the silence too quickly, invite me back. If I resist rest, gently remind me that my worth is not on the line, that I am allowed to just be, that who I am when I am quiet is still loved, still chosen, still enough. Let rest be more than sleep. Let it be restoration. Let it reach into my thoughts, my emotions, my habits, my assumptions. Let it unwind what has been tangled. Let it unclench what has been braced too long. Let it soften me where I have grown hard and steady me where I have felt scattered. Lord, let my stillness not be an escape, but an encounter, a place where I am not avoiding life, but meeting you in the center of it. A place where I am not hiding from responsibility, but finding the strength to carry it with grace. A place where my soul catches up to my body, and my spirit breathes freely again. Thank you for the gift of slowing down. Thank you that I do not have to be constantly available to everyone else to be faithful to you. Thank you that boundaries are not selfish, they are wise. That rest is not wasted, it is sacred. That stillness is not idle, it is intimate. It is where I hear you best. So let me linger here a little longer. Let me stretch out this silence instead of rushing past it. Let me taste the sweetness of a moment, not driven by demand. Let me remember what it feels like to be fully present, unpulled, undistracted, unclenched. Help me carry this stillness into how I move through the world, into my conversations, into my work, into my rest. Let it soften the edges of urgency and draw me back when I begin to drift into pressure. Teach me a new pace, a pace led by peace, not performance. Let stillness become a rhythm in me, not a rare moment, but a way of living. Let it help me hear more clearly, see more deeply, respond more wisely. Let it make space for creativity, for discernment, for quiet joy that does not need to be shouted. And when I am tempted to measure my worth by how busy I am, remind me that the most sacred work may be done in stillness, that sometimes the most powerful thing I can do is pause, breathe, listen, trust. Let me rest in the truth that I am not behind. I am not too late. I am not missing anything you have prepared for me. That I can be fully aligned with your purpose while sitting in silence. That I can be deeply faithful while doing nothing more than being still before you. Let this day begin with stillness. Carry through with stillness and end in stillness. Not empty, but full. Not frozen, but rooted. Let it be a sacred space where I meet you again. Without striving, without pretense, without fear, just here, just now, just yours, Lord. As I sit in the stillness you have taught me to embrace, I begin to notice the quieter aches within me, old wounds I have learned to ignore, hidden bruises beneath the surface. And instead of turning away, I sense you asking me to bring them into the light, to stop pretending they do not matter, to stop fearing that healing is too far off. Father, I bring all of it to you now, not to be judged, but to be gently held. Some hurts have lived in me for years. Some I speak about with ease, others I have never put into words. Some are tied to moments I can barely recall, yet they shape the way I see myself, the way I trust, the way I love. I have patched over pain to stay strong. I have covered up disappointment with distraction. I have buried grief because there was no time to grieve. But you see it all. You have always seen. You are not surprised by what still hurts. You are not impatient with what still needs time. You do not demand I be fully healed before you stay close. Instead, you kneel beside the broken pieces. You lift what I cannot. You tend to what still trembles. You whisper wholeness into what the world said was unworthy. God, help me let go of the shame attached to my wounds. Help me release the belief that healing must be hidden or rushed. Help me trust that the slow, deep work you are doing matters more than surface solutions. Let me be a safe place for my own story. Let me stop apologizing for the process. When I feel discouraged by how long healing takes, remind me that you work beneath the surface. That even when nothing looks different, transformation is happening. That healing is not always loud or linear. Sometimes it looks like breathing deeper. Sometimes it sounds like being kind to myself for the first time in weeks. Sometimes it feels like resting without guilt. Let today be a day where I stop running from what still needs tending. Let it be a day where I listen with compassion to the parts of me that are still sore. Let it be a day where I meet myself with patience instead of pressure. Let it be a day of small mercies that slowly rebuild what has been worn thin. God, teach me to grieve well, to name what I have lost without minimizing it, to feel what I feel without judgment, to hold sorrow and hope in the same breath. Show me that grief is not weakness, but a sacred response to love and longing. That tears are not failure, but evidence of what mattered. Let healing touch how I speak to myself. Let it soften my inner critic. Let it rewrite the narrative that says I am too broken, too late, too complicated to become whole. Let it replace harshness with grace, fear with gentleness, punishment with peace. Let it create new neural paths of kindness. Help me forgive where wounds have hardened, not just others, but myself, for what I did not know, for how long it has taken, for the way I cupped when I did not yet know how to heal. Let forgiveness flow through every layer: heart, mind, body, memory. Let it be a balm, not a burden. And when healing feels too hard to choose, hold me there. When the work is deeper than I expected, Stay close. When I want to numb instead of feel. Keep whispering that there is more than survival. There is renewal. There is beauty still possible on the other side of brokenness. There is joy I have not even imagined. Remind me that healing is not about erasing the past, but making peace with it. It is not pretending it did not happen, but choosing not to let it define me forever. It is not about forgetting, but about no longer being ruled by the memory. It is about creating space inside me for both the pain and the promise of what can be made new. Let healing become part of my daily rhythm, in how I nourish my body, in how I rest, in how I open up to people, in how I create, in how I set boundaries. Let it show up in the words I choose, in the breath I take before I react, in the courage to try again. Let it be slow, steady, sacred, and when the old wounds flare up unexpected, sharp, disorienting, help me meet them with gentleness. Not frustration, not shame, just presence. Let me trace the pain back to the part of me that still needs love, not condemnation, and let that love be the beginning of new life there. Thank you, God, for being a healer who does not rush me, who does not tire of my repetition, who does not shame me for still hurting. Thank you for walking me through valleys I thought would bury me, for restoring color to the places that had grown numb, for showing me that scars can become stories of redemption. Let me walk through this day aware of the healing already happening, in the quiet moments, in the difficult choices, in the pauses between what was and what will be. Let me celebrate small wins and honor slow steps. Let me hold hope like a fragile but growing thing. Let this journey inward not lead me to isolation, but to deeper connection with you, with others, and with my own heart. Let it make me softer, not harder, truer, not tougher, kinder, not more guarded. Let healing not just restore me, but reshape me into someone who carries light even in shadowed places. And if I meet someone else today who is hurting, help me recognize it. Help me respond with grace. Help me be the kind of presence that makes healing feel possible. A quiet encouragement, a safe space, a reminder that no one is too far gone, that nothing is too damaged for you to redeem. Father, now that healing has begun to mend what was once fragile within me, I feel you gently guiding me toward a deeper step, learning to trust again, not just in others, but in myself, not just in moments that feel safe, but in the uncertain ones. Trust feels delicate now, like something newly planted, vulnerable to wind and weather. But even so, you invite me to begin. It is hard to trust when trust has been broken, when promises were empty, when words did not match actions, when love hurt more than silence. I carry memories that make me hesitate, and I know you see them, not to shame me, but to help me loosen my grip, to help me believe again, even if it is slow. Lord, show me what it means to trust wisely, not naively, not carelessly, but with discernment and grace. Help me listen to the quiet voice inside me that is learning how to hope again. The one that wants to believe there is goodness in people, that love can be real, that kindness does not always have an agenda, that trust does not have to be blind to be brave. Help me trust you most of all, not just in outcomes, but in process. Not just when things are working, but when I can see where the road is leading. Let my trust in you become the soil where all other trust can grow, because you have never failed me, not once, even in silence. You were faithful, even in pain. You were near. God, restore the part of me that stopped expecting good, that learned to live with guarded hope and braced joy, that called it wisdom, but knew deep down it was fear. Let that part soften now. Let it breathe. Let it rise. Let it risk. Let trust reshape how I interact with others. Let it show up in how I choose to open up again, in how I listen, in how I wait without assuming, in how I extend the benefit of the doubt without losing wisdom. Let it be something rooted in love, not fear of rejection. Remind me that trust does not mean pretending. It does not mean forgetting the past or ignoring warning signs. It does not mean everything will go right. It means I am choosing to stay open anyway, choosing to be real, choosing to lean in, choosing to keep my heart tender when it would be easier to harden it. When I start to close off, whisper to me. When I begin to assume the worst, remind me what healing has taught me, that I am no longer living from a place of survival, but from a place of love, that I do not have to protect myself the way I used to, that I am allowed to trust again, even if it looks different now. Thank you for being a safe place for my trust to return, for not requiring quick leaps, but honoring slow steps, for letting me bring my hesitation into your presence, for not rushing me through restoration, for walking with me until trust feels natural, not forced. Let me be someone who rebuilds trust, not just in myself, but in the spaces I create for others. Let my words match my actions. Let my yes mean yes. Let my boundaries be kind but clear. Let people feel safe around me because I lead with truth, grace, and consistency. Help me rebuild trust in my own voice, the one that I silenced to please others, the one that questioned itself after betrayal, the one that learned to doubt even its own needs. Let that voice grow steady again. Let it speak clearly. Let it be guided by peace instead of fear. Let it become an ally instead of an accuser. And when the time comes to trust others with pieces of my heart, give me courage. Give me discernment. Give me wisdom to know when it is time to open the door, and when it is time to wait. Give me the clarity to choose people who honor what is shared. And if mistakes happen, let it not harden me, let it refine me. Remind me that trust is not a destination, but a journey. That it does not need to be perfect to be powerful. That even shaky beginnings can lead to strong foundations. That I do not have to feel ready, I only have to be willing. Let trust be the bridge between where I have been and where I am going. Let it connect the healed parts with the ones still in progress. Let it hold space for grace and growth. Let it teach me that I do not need to have everything figured out to take a step forward. Thank you, God, for trusting me too, for entrusting me with gifts, with love, with purpose, even when I doubted myself. Thank you for reminding me that my ability to trust does not have to start with others. It can start with you, then with me, and then flow outward. Let today be a quiet rebuilding, one choice at a time, one word at a time, one brave breath at a time. Let trust be the seed I plant again, believing it will bloom. Not overnight, but eventually. And even if it takes time, let the waiting be holy, and the growing be enough. Let the journey of trust become a sacred practice. Let it teach me how to stay soft in a world that sometimes bruises. Let it strengthen my core so I do not crumble under the weight of fear. Let it give me eyes to see through kindness, ears to hear beyond defense, and a heart that refuses to give up on hope. And when tomorrow comes, let me try again, not to be perfect, but to be faithful, not to erase all risk, but to embrace it wisely. Let trust be my quiet anthem, my daily offering, my pathway home. God, as trust quietly rebuilds its foundation in my soul, I feel something else begin to stir joy. Not the kind that depends on everything going right, but the kind that rises even when nothing has changed. The kind that is born not from ease, but from depth. The kind that surprises me in small moments, reminding me that joy was never gone, only waiting for space to return. After seasons of survival, joy can feel foreign, like a song I used to know but forgot how to sing, like sunlight after a long rain, beautiful, but almost too bright to trust at first. I have grown used to waiting for the other shoe to drop, for the good to vanish, for peace to prove temporary. But you are gently teaching me that joy is not a trick or a trap. It is a gift, and I am allowed to receive it again. Father, help me stop apologizing for joy. Help me stop questioning it, minimizing it, bracing against it. Help me stop believing I have to earn it, or that it only comes after everything is fixed. Let joy come where I am in the middle of the mess, in the tension of the unknown, in the quiet in between. Let joy be an act of defiance against despair. Let it be a rebellion against numbness. Let it be a holy resistance to the narrative that says only pain is honest and only sorrow is sacred. Show me that joy can be profound, not shallow, that it can be rooted in truth, not denial, that it can coexist with grief and grow alongside healing. Let me choose joy not because life is perfect, but because you are present, not because I have everything I want, because I see what I have, not because circumstances are easy, but because hope is alive. Let joy become part of my identity again, not a visitor, but a resident. God, remind me what joy feels like, in a deep breath, in a sincere laugh, in an unguarded smile, in the warmth of connection, in beauty I did not create and grace I did not deserve. Let me see joy not as rare, but as everywhere waiting in the ordinary, folded into the fabric of daily life. Teach me to practice joy, to seek it out, to name it when I see it, to celebrate it without needing a reason. Let it become a rhythm in my life, not reserved for mountaintops, but held even in valleys. Let it be the soundtrack of healing, the evidence of trust returning, the fruit of living open. And when joy feels far, help me remember that it is not always loud. Sometimes it is a whisper, a gentle contentment, a moment of peace, a soft sense of being okay. Even if everything is not, let me find it in small victories, in quiet mornings, in cups of tea and words of kindness. Let me believe that joy does not have to be grand to be real. Let me be unashamed in joy. Let me laugh fully, dance freely, rest deeply, love without fear. Let joy shape my face, my posture, my presence. Let it draw people in. Let it point to you, the giver of every good thing, the author of delight, the one who rejoices over me with singing. God, thank you for not asking me to earn joy. Thank you for not tying it to outcomes or timelines. Thank you for offering it as part of my inheritance, not as a reward, but as a reflection of who you are. Thank you that joy can return even after sorrow, that it can bloom even in broken places, that it can heal what nothing else can reach. Let joy be what wakes me up and what carries me through. Let it be strength when I feel weak and clarity when I feel overwhelmed. Let it be a companion I welcome, not question. Let it remind me that life is not just to be endured, but also to be enjoyed. Let joy help me release the pressure to always be strong. Let it soften the places that have grown too serious. Let it lighten the heaviness I have carried so long I forgot it was there. Let it make room for play, for curiosity, for gratitude that rises without warning. Show me the sacredness of celebration, not just for milestones, but for moments, for a kind word, for a deep breath, for a door held open, for a sunrise I did not miss, for a conversation that did not feel forced. Let me celebrate these as holy, not small. Help me bring joy into the lives of others, not through performance, but through presence, through authenticity, through the kind of joy that does not try to fix or impress, but simply overflows. Let my joy be healing. Let it be light in weary spaces. And if today brings sorrow, let joy meet it, not to cancel it, but to stand beside it, to remind me I am not one-dimensional, that I am capable of feeling deeply and still choosing to laugh, that joy is not betrayal of pain, but a bridge out of it. So today, I open myself to joy again. I make space for it. I say yes, even with shaking hands. I trust that it will return, not because I chase it, but because I am learning to receive it. I trust that it is not too late, that joy is not just behind me or ahead of me, but with me. Now, let this be a day where joy becomes my posture, my prayer, my quiet strength. Let it lead me gently forward and remind me that even now joy is possible, joy is holy, and joy is mine to hold. Father, as joy begins to bloom again within the quiet corners of my soul, I sense you inviting me into something deeper still, gratitude. Not the surface kind that lists blessings to feel better, but the kind that becomes a way of seeing, a way of living. Gratitude that is not an obligation, but a rhythm of awareness, a posture that says, even here, there is something sacred. It is easy to notice what is missing, easy to dwell on what is not working, what hurts, what has been lost, but you gently redirect my gaze, not to dismiss the pain, but to widen my vision, to show me what else is true, that even in the hardest moments, goodness still weaves through, that even in the mess, beauty persists. Lord, teach me how to live from gratitude, not just visit it. Let it anchor me when the day feels heavy. Let it lift my eyes when worry tries to narrow my focus. Let it steady my heart in the tension between longing and fulfillment. Let it remind me that what I have is not small when viewed through wonder. Gratitude does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers in a quiet sunrise, in the sound of someone's voice I love, in a moment of laughter I did not expect, in the simple fact that I am here, breathing, held. Let me tune my soul to those whispers. Let me recognize them as gifts instead of glossing over them. Help me give thanks not just for what is easy, but for what has shaped me, for what taught me to let go, for what pushed me to grow, for the closed doors that redirected me, the delays that refined me, the tears that softened me. Let gratitude be honest, not idealistic. Let it hold both joy and sorrow in the same hand. Let today be a practice in seeing, in slowing down enough to notice what I usually rush past. The kindness of a stranger, the warmth of clean clothes, the comfort of familiar routines, the breath that comes without asking. Let each one be a reminder that I am loved, provided for, and never forsaken. God, keep me from entitlement, the belief that I am owed anything. Replace it with reverence, with humility, with awe that I get to live, to love, to try again. Let gratitude guard my heart against bitterness. Let it silence comparison. Let it interrupt complaints before they take root. Let gratitude shape how I speak. Let it be woven into my words to others, to myself, to you. Let it soften my tone, shift my perspective, open my hands. Let it make me slower to judge, quicker to bless, eager to celebrate. And when I am tempted to overlook the ordinary, remind me that ordinary is where most of life unfolds, that there is hollowness in the mundane, that miracles often wear plain clothes, that grace does not need to dazzle to be real. Help me not just count blessings, but live them. Let gratitude become how I move through the world with open eyes and a willing heart. Let it slow my reactions, deepen my connections, and transform my routines into sacred rituals. Let it reframe my waiting, my working, my resting, my rising. Teach me to thank you not only when things go well, but when I do not understand, when I am still in the middle, when outcomes are unclear. Let gratitude not be conditional, but foundational. Let it rise from trust, not just results. Thank you, Lord, for the unseen protections, for the prayers you have answered in ways I did not ask, for the things you withheld that I thought I needed, for the doors you closed and the peace you planted in their place, for the people who stayed, for the moments that saved me quietly. Let me never grow tired of saying thank you. Let it never become mechanical or shallow. Let each thank you be full of heart, of memory, of presence. Let it carry weight. Let it change me. And if today is hard, let gratitude hold space for that too. Let it offer comfort without pretending. Let it speak truth without pressure. Let it remind me that even in uncertainty, goodness is not gone, that grace still flows, that light still finds a way in. Let gratitude become my habit, my instinct, my breath. Let it not require perfection, only attention. Let it be how I come back to myself, how I return to you, how I walk through this world with a heart that notices, names, and gives thanks. So as I step into this day, let me carry gratitude like a lantern. Let it light the path. Let it warm the shadows. Let it lead me back again and again to the quiet truth that this life, even with its H, is still a gift worth receiving fully. Let gratitude be the thread that ties this day together, from first light to final breath, a constant reminder that nothing is too small to be sacred, and nothing is wasted in the hands of a grateful heart. Let me end this day the way I began, with thanks. For breath, for love, for grace, for another chance to begin again tomorrow with a heart still open, still grateful, still yours. Let that be enough for this moment, for this breath, for this life I get to live with you. Let gratitude grow quiet roots in me, anchoring my soul in every season. Lord, after learning to live from a heart of gratitude, I begin to feel something settle in me, a quiet peace that does not depend on how much I accomplish or how much I understand. A peace that flows not from having less to carry, but from knowing I do not carry it alone. A peace that rises not when problems disappear, but when presence becomes enough. This peace, Father, feels different, deeper, wiser, more rooted in you than in anything I can control. So much of life tries to stir up restlessness, to convince me I must hurry, must worry, must chase, must prove. But you, Lord, speak in stillness. You are not the voice of panic, but of assurance, not the push of pressure, but the pull of love. And I am learning that peace is not the absence of storms, but the clarity to remain calm within them. Help me begin this day from that clarity. Help me breathe slower, walk lighter, move more deliberately. Let peace be how I enter the room, how I make decisions, how I treat people. Let it be my posture, not my reward. Let it be my starting point, not my finish line. Let me stop waiting for everything to be perfect before I allow peace to visit. Let me stop believing I have to earn it by fixing everything first. Let me believe that peace is already here, already offered, already mine to carry. I just have to notice it, make room for it, say yes to it again and again. Let peace show up in my body, in the softening of my shoulders, in the unclenching of my jaw, in the slowing of my breath. Let it show up in my thoughts, in kinder self-talk, in less frantic conclusions, in longer pauses before reacting. Let it show up in my relationships, in my ability to listen, to forgive, to stay grounded when emotions rise. Teach me how to hold peace when everything around me feels unsettled, to anchor myself in what is unshakable, to remember that you are not distant when chaos comes. You are closer than ever. You do not promise a life without disruption, but you promise your presence in the middle of it, and that presence is peace. Help me reject the lie that peace requires escape, that I must leave my life to find it. Instead, show me how to carry it into my life, into the emails, the errands, the deadlines, the mess, into the hard conversations and the uncomfortable feelings. Let peace walk with me into everything I face, not just what feels safe. God, let peace be a filter for how I see the world. Let it slow my assumptions. Let it quiet the noise of fear. Let it remind me that I do not need to have all the answers to be okay. Let it make space for wonder, for trust, for joy that does not need explanation. Let it be the permission I need to stop striving and start receiving. Let peace be my resistance to burnout, to bitterness, to business. Let it keep me soft when the world grows hard. Let it protect what is tender in me. Let it turn my energy toward building, not battling, toward healing, not hiding, toward presence, not performance. Let peace begin as a whisper and grow into a rhythm. Let it travel with me, settle in me, reshape me. Let it become more than something I feel. Let it become something I live. Let it be the language I speak without trying, the presence I carry without effort, the legacy I leave without even knowing. Let it be the unseen strength that holds me together when I feel like falling apart. Let it be the grounding I return to when emotions pull me in every direction. Let peace keep me rooted when everything around me shifts. Let it be a shelter, not a prison. Let it free me to feel deeply without being swept away. When anxious thoughts come, let peace meet them at the door. When old patterns try to take hold, let peace remind me that I am no longer who I used to be, that I am not defined by how loud the fear is, but by how faithfully I return to stillness. Thank you, God, for offering me peace that surpasses understanding, for not requiring that I figure everything out before I rest, for meeting me in the middle of uncertainty and speaking calm over the chaos inside me. Thank you for being steady when I am shaken. Let today be a quiet witness to peace at work in me. Let it change how I show up in conversations, in decisions, in silence. Let it shape my reactions, my intentions, my presence. Let it whisper to the parts of me that still brace for the worst, that still carry the past, that still wonder if peace is possible. Let peace not be something I chase, but something I practice, a discipline of choosing presence over panic, a decision to remain in love instead of rushing into fear, a habit of pausing before I assume, a pattern of laying down what is not mine to hold. And when others encounter me today, let peace be what they feel. Let it linger in the spaces I leave behind. Let it be a healing balm without needing explanation. Let it make room for softness in a sharp world. Let peace be how I close this day, not with every box checked, but with my soul at rest, with my heart aligned, with my spirit anchored. Let peace be both the journey and the arrival, the breath and the exhale, the quiet proof that I am exactly where I am meant to be. Father, in the stillness that peace brings, I hear the quiet invitation beneath it all, the call to walk in purpose. Not the frantic striving to prove something, but the sacred unfolding of who I already am in you. As peace settles my spirit, it clears the noise so I can finally hear your direction, not as a shout, but as a whisper, a deep knowing that there is something meaningful about this life you have entrusted to me. God, I do not want to drift through my days, reacting and surviving. I want to live with intention, with clarity, with alignment. I want my steps to echo something eternal, not just urgent. Show me how to recognize purpose not only in mountain moments, but in daily obedience, in small kindnesses, in unseen faithfulness, in the slow work of becoming. Sometimes, I confuse purpose with performance. I chase outcomes and applause. I think calling has to look grand or public, but you remind me that divine purpose often looks quiet, consistent, rooted. Purpose is not about being impressive. It is about being present, being faithful to what is in my hands today, being willing to say yes even when I do not see the full picture yet. Lord, help me discern what is mine to carry. There are so many good things I could pursue, but not all of them are mine to own. Help me let go of distractions that drain me. Help me stop saying yes to what does not align with the deeper reason you created me. Let me follow peace as my compass and conviction as my map. Let purpose flow through my words, my work, my relationships. Let it be the lens through which I make decisions. Let it be the root of my yes and the reason behind my no. Let it guide how I spend my time, how I use my voice, how I steward my gifts. Let it shape my habits until it becomes the rhythm of my life, even when purpose feels unclear. Let me trust that you are still working. Let me believe that just showing up open, willing, surrendered is part of the process. That purpose is not something I chase, but something I grow into. That I do not have to force it into being. I just have to keep walking with you, one faithful step at a time. When I feel behind, remind me that purpose does not rush. When I feel lost, remind me that you are still leading. When I feel small, remind me that obedience in hidden places changes things I may never see. That sometimes the most powerful moves I make will be the ones no one else applauds, but you. Thank you for the gifts you have placed in me, even the ones I am still discovering. Thank you for the passions that stir my heart and the burdens that won't let me go. Thank you for wiring me uniquely, not to compare, but to contribute something only I can bring. Let me honor that design by walking in it fully. Help me stop disqualifying myself with doubt. Help me stop waiting until I feel worthy or ready. Help me move forward anyway with trembling hands, with faith that grows as I go. Remind me that you do not call the qualified. You qualify the called. And if you have placed something in me, you will see it through. Let purpose give me resilience when things are hard. Let it ground me when I want to quit. Let it whisper, keep going, when the path gets narrow. Let it anchor me deeper than motivation, more firmly than emotion. Let it remind me that this life is not random, it is intentional. Even when it feels uncertain, show me how to carry purpose with humility, not as a banner to wave, but as a light to follow. Let me use it to serve, not to control, to build others up, not to prove my worth. Let my purpose be less about position and more about posture, a heart that says, here I am. Send me. And if I ever lose my way, bring me back not with shame, but with gentleness, not with noise, but with clarity, not with fear, but with the quiet reminder that nothing you call me to is wasted, and nothing I surrender will ever return void. So today, I walk on not because I know every step, but because I know who goes with me. I walk not with certainty of outcomes, but with conviction of presence. I walk in the direction of what brings peace, of what bears fruit, of what honors you. I walk in purpose not borrowed, not forced, not delayed, but my own, lit by your spirit, strengthened by your grace, and aligned with heaven. Let the mundane become meaningful through intention. Let the ordinary reveal eternal weight. Let purpose not just direct my big decisions, but saturate the smallest ones, how I speak, how I love, how I rest, how I rise again tomorrow. Let it breathe through everything. Let this day not be wasted in wandering or worry, but invested in walking in the truth who you made me to be. Let that be enough. Let it be sacred. Let it echo in the silence and in every step I take from here. Let the fullness of my purpose be lived in faith, not fear. Today, let it unfold in the quiet places, one surrender at a time. Let that be worship enough for this day. Lord, now that I am learning to walk in the divine purpose you have placed within me, something deeper stirs a longing to give myself to you fully. Without reservation, not just the parts that feel ready or polished, but the unspoken corners too, the hesitant places, the broken edges, the dreams I have buried and the fears I have hidden. All of it, I want to offer you my whole heart, not just to fulfill purpose, but to live truly aligned with the love that called me. Father, you never asked for perfection. You only asked for surrender, for truth, for openness. And so today, I come not with a performance, but with presence. I bring you what is real, no mask, no script, no attempt to impress. Just me, the quiet me, the tired me, the brave and wary, the joyful and uncertain, every part of me, laid open in this prayer. Let my heart be the place where you dwell most deeply. Let it be the temple where peace meets truth, where faith is grown, where love takes root and bears fruit in everything I do, not out of striving, but out of the overflow that comes from being near you. Help me stop compartmentalizing my life, giving you the sacred and hiding the ordinary. Help me stop dividing my heart into manageable pieces, only offering what I think is acceptable. You are not afraid of my contradictions. You are not deterred by my confusion. You are not overwhelmed by my longings. You made this heart. You know how it beats. Let surrender become less about loss and more about trust. Not the absence of desire, but the reordering of it. Not giving up dreams, but placing them into better hands. Not silence, but a deeper kind of listening. Not passivity, but courage that looks like humility. God, let me live today as one who is fully known and still fully loved. Let that truth change how I move through the world. Let it give me freedom to stop proving and start receiving. Let it show me that your love is not increased by my performance, nor diminished by my struggle. It simply is constant, unwavering, enough. Let me be wholehearted in how I speak, how I forgive, how I create, how I rest, how I show up even when it is hard. Let me be someone whose heart is open not just to you, but to those around me. Let my vulnerability be a gift, not a weakness. Let my authenticity be a doorway to connection, not a burden to carry alone. Let my heart be teachable, willing to grow, to unlearn, to soften, willing to see things differently, willing to admit when I have been wrong, willing to return again and again to the center of grace. Let my convictions be rooted in love, not fear, in truth, not pride, in compassion, not control. When I am tempted to close my heart to avoid being hurt, remind me that protection without presence is not safety. It is isolation. Remind me that you are the keeper of my heart, that I can open wide because I am held. Let my heart remain tender in a world that often rewards hardness. And when I feel like I have nothing left to give, show me that even the smallest offerings matter. A kind word, a silent prayer, a steady presence, a choice to forgive, a quiet act of faithfulness. You multiply what I give in trust. You breathe life into what I release in surrender. Thank you for being a God who does not ask me to pretend, who welcomes every part of me, who holds both my strength and my sorrow with equal care. Thank you for being a safe place for my whole heart wounded, healing, growing, and alive. Let me wake each day ready to give again, not out of duty, but out of love. Let my offering be less about outcomes and more about obedience. Let my joy be less about achievement and more about alignment. Let my success be measured in softness, in kindness, in faithfulness over time. Let me remember that this heart was not made to harden with time, but to deepen, to beat in rhythm with heaven, to pour itself out and still be filled again. Let it become a well that others can draw from. Let it reflect the pulse of grace. Let today be marked by fullness, not fear, by intention, not impulse, by devotion, not distraction. Let my whole heart be my worship, not just in moments of song or prayer, but in every quiet decision to show up with love. So here I am again, Lord, not perfect, not always certain, but fully yours. Take this heart of mine, its hopes, its wounds, its joys, its questions, and shape it into something that carries your presence into this world. Let it be a resting place for peace, a light for those who feel forgotten, a voice for gentleness in a loud and restless world. Let it be wholly offered. Let it be wholly loved. Let it be wholly yours. Let every beat of this heart be a quiet yes to you, a steady rhythm of surrender, a song only you can hear and fully understand. Let that be enough for today. Let it speak when I am silent, move when I am still, and believe when I struggle. Let it choose love when it costs something. Let it stay soft when life pushes hard. Let it keep opening, one breath at a time, until it beats fully in step with you. Father, after offering my whole heart to you, I feel the pull to live from that surrender, not just in a moment, but in motion. Not just in what I feel, but in how I walk. You are not calling me to a passive surrender, but a faithful one. A surrender that moves, that risks, that trusts the next step, even when it is not fully lit. A surrender that does not freeze in fear, but flows forward with quiet courage. Lord, so often I want clarity before obedience. I want assurance before action. I want guarantees that I one T fall, one T hurt, one T be misunderstood. But you do not offer safety in the way the world defines it. You offer something better, your presence, and that is enough. So today, I choose to walk in surrender. I choose to keep moving even when the path feels uncertain. Let each step be an act of trust. Let each moment of waiting become an altar where faith is formed. Let each detour shape patience in me. Let each act of obedience, even the small and unseen, become a seed that grows something eternal. Help me stop measuring surrender by the size of the sacrifice and start measuring it by the posture of my heart. Some days surrender will look like bold moves and hard choices. Other days it will look like staying steady, showing up again, forgiving again, believing again. Let me honor both kinds. Let me see them as equally sacred. When surrender feels like loss, remind me it is making space for something better. When it feels like letting go, remind me I am falling into grace. When it feels like too much, remind me you are strong in my weakness. And when I wonder if it matters, remind me that nothing surrendered to you is wasted. God, I want my faith to be more than words, more than declarations made in comfort. I want it to show up in the tension, in the questions, in the stretch. I want it to be tested and still true. Refined, not just repeated. Alive, not just recited. Let surrender shape how I hold plans. Let it teach me to release timelines, to trust your pace, to believe that delay is not denial. Let it teach me that rest is not laziness, and waiting is not failure. Let it help me release control with dignity, a knowing that your hands are more capable than mine. Let my life become a rhythm of surrendered faith, a constant returning, a daily yielding, 1,000 quiet yeses that no one else may see, but you treasure deeply. Let obedience become less about outcomes and more about intimacy, less about results and more about relationship, less about getting somewhere and more about walking with you there. Help me embrace the mystery without letting it paralyze me. Help me release the need to predict, to manage, to micromanage what only you can see. Let faith be the substance of my surrender. Let hope be the light that pulls me forward. Let trust be the soil where my roots go deep. When I am tempted to take matters into my own hands, remind me of the peace that comes from letting go. When I am tempted to compare my pace to someone else's, remind me that obedience looks different for everyone. When I am tempted to doubt whether I am really hearing you, remind me that you are not fragile, and I do not have to be perfect to follow well. Let today be an invitation to walk slowly, intentionally, honestly. Let surrender become the way I stay aligned, not just the way I come back. Let it anchor me in seasons of change. Let it free me from the pressure to know everything now. Let it make room for wisdom to grow as I go. Thank you for being a God who walks with me, not rushing me, not shaming me, but delighting in every step I take toward you. Thank you for redefining success not as speed, but as surrender, not as fame, but as faithfulness, not as ease, but as endurance rooted in grace. Let my surrender be visible, not just in the big moments, but in the hidden ones, in how I respond when no one is watching, in how I forgive without being asked, in how I choose peace over proving, in how I remain when walking away would be easier. Let my life tell the story of a heart that trusted you deeply. Let it echo with obedience that was costly, but worth it. Let it carry the fragrance of someone who did not just believe with words, but with footsteps. Let my daily surrender be the most honest expression of my love for you. So even now, even here, I surrender again, not with reluctance, but with reverence, not because I have to, but because I want to, because I have tasted your goodness and I trust your leading, because I have seen what happens when I hold tight and what happens when I let go, because surrender is not the end of my strength, it is the beginning of yours living fully in me. Let this be the kind of surrender that breathes life into every step I take, that turns ordinary paths into sacred ground, and every moment of trust into a quiet miracle unfolding. Let it be the offering I place at your feet, again and again, with joy and trembling. Let it be my answer to your invitation, my act of worship in motion, and the thread that ties this day to eternity. Lord, as I reach this sacred moment, having walked through valleys of doubt and peaks of clarity, my heart does not feel like it is ending anything. It feels like it is opening, wider than before, softer than I ever thought possible. There is no finality in this breath, only a turning toward the light. Not a conclusion, but a continuation, a quiet unfolding. Every word lifted, every tear shed, every silence held in this journey has not gone unheard. Each morning prayer was a seed, and now I begin to see the green shoots pressing through the soil of my soul, not fully grown, not yet strong, but alive. That is enough. Growth was never meant to be loud. Sometimes it happens in the dark, in the still, in the H. Father, thank you for the mornings where I had no words but still showed up, for the days when I doubted but still chose to whisper faith, for the sacred ordinary where nothing seemed to change, yet everything was being transformed inside me. This path we have walked together was never about perfection. It was always about presence, yours and mine. Meeting here. So I stand here, at this quiet threshold, not with answers, but with trust. I do not know what tomorrow will bring, but I know I will not walk into it alone. I carry peace now, not because life is predictable, but because I am no longer trying to hold it all myself. I carry joy, not because I always feel happy, but because I know where my hope lies. I carry purpose, not because the map is clear, but because the next step is lit with grace. I am no longer waiting to become someone else before I live fully. I am choosing to begin now with trembling yeses and steady love. I am not who I was when this began. Something in me has shifted, not in ways the world might notice, but in ways that change everything. My heart beats more freely. My thoughts move more kindly. My soul remembers how to rest. Let today be the beginning of walking in rhythm with heaven. Let this surrender continue not as a dramatic vow, but as a daily turning. Let me wake each morning not chasing certainty, but receiving presence. Let me live from a place of rooted trust that breathes through the tension, the quiet, the unknown. I do not need to shout to feel strong. I do not need to prove to feel worthy. I do not need to predict to be prepared. I only need to remain open, to remain soft, to remain near. God, thank you for teaching me that faith is not a straight line. It loops and pauses and doubles back. It breaks and rebuilds. It hurts and heals. And you remain patient through it all. You remain close when I wander. You remain faithful when I am unsure. You remain always. Thank you for reshaping how I see myself, not through the lens of failure or performance, but through the gaze of love. Thank you for reminding me that transformation is not a moment, it is a way of living, a way of walking, a way of trusting the unseen with open hands. So now, as I continue on this path, I will carry the prayers I have spoken as memories pressed into my spirit. I will carry the peace I have discovered as oil in my lamp. I will carry the purpose that stirred as a compass gently guiding. And I will carry you not because you were ever far, but because I finally stopped running and turned toward you with all I am. For anyone who has walked this journey beside me, thank you. Thank you for listening with your soul, for daring to open your heart, for showing up in the quiet when no one saw. You are not alone in your longing. You're healing. You're becoming. We are walking this together. Each prayer a thread in something eternal, each step sacred, even when unseen. If this journey has touched you, I invite you to carry it forward. Share your reflections, your own prayers, your quiet awakenings. Speak life into others as life has been spoken into you. Let this be a ripple, not a pond. Let it stretch wide. And if this has been a gift to you, I gently ask you to stay connected. Subscribe to this space. Share it with those who are weary, who are wandering, who are looking for light again. Let us keep creating sacred pause in a noisy world. Let us keep showing up not perfectly, but persistently. Let us continue to believe that faith is still worth choosing every single morning. May your next step be lighter. May your breath be deeper. May your hope rise quietly like the sun breaking over the edge of night. Not loud, not forced, but certain, like morning light falling through a window, like cool air brushing your cheek, like a river that remembers how to flow. Still moving, still healing, still here. Let all that has been planted in silence now rise in season. Let what has softened you now strengthen you. Let what was once burden now become blessing, flowing gently like living water through every corner of your day. And as the light of morning stretches across the horizon, may you remember you are deeply seen, deeply loved, and never alone. Let this sunrise be your reminder that the story is still unfolding,